It'd been 3 days since he told her to stay home. He got another call from that annoying teacher again, so he yelled at her and hung up the phone. That woman is too persistent, Teppei thought. She won't give up that easily. He was sure that she'd call the child consultation center again. The biggest reason why Teppei refused to let Satoko go to school was his fear that she'd seek help when going there. She pretended like nothing was wrong when the social worker from the child consultation center showed up, but that was only because he was right beside her. She'd probably betray him as soon as she got her chance. Then the consultation center would show up immediately. No, maybe even the police would come and get him for assaulting Satoko. One of his friends had told him that the consultation center works with the police sometimes. Teppei had a lot of weight on his shoulders. If the police came, they'd end up questioning him about the other trouble he was involved in. He couldn't let that happen. All he needed was the money. Teppei could leave this awful village behind as soon as he found his brother's bank book. Teppei usually stayed at home, as he found the way the other villagers looked at him unpleasant. So when playing mahjong with his friends, he played it at Satoko's house. But mahjong requires at least 4 people. When Teppei couldn't get that many people to come over, he just stayed home alone and watched TV instead. He started using this ample free time to sniff around the house for his treasure. Satoko would end up cleaning the mess he made. Besides, it wasn't his home anyway. What did it matter to him how much furniture he broke? He cleared out the closet and went up the attic. He also pulled out all the chests and searched them thoroughly. His wife had been a pretty clever woman. She must have hid it somewhere very unusual. He messed up the whole first floor and went up the second floor to search some more. The next moment, Satoko went and tried to tackle him. Oh! Oh. Teppei immediately assumed that she was hiding the bank book in there. He threw her off and forced his way inside the room. However, Satoko tried to stop him with all her might. It was amusing for Teppei to see Satoko resisting him to that extent, but it also surprised him a little. He asked her why she didn't want him to go into Satoshi's room.
Nanjai, 兄貴の部屋だからってそれだけでダメなんかい。サトシなんか生きとるかどうかもわからんわな。ニーニーは生きてるんですのよ。きっと帰ってきますのよ。荒らさないで、荒らさないで。何言うてんな。わし荒らすんと違う。この部屋をな、ちょいとお掃除しようちゅうとんしゃな。いないやつのために部屋を残しとく義理なんかあらんね。だからちょいとお片付けをするだけなんね。
Satoko's crazed behavior convinced him that he should stop provoking her for a moment. While Teppei was very talented at threatening people, despair makes cowards courageous. If he ignored Satoko and tore apart the room, she might just run away. He didn't want Satoko to be nearby, but he also couldn't let her run loose.
わかったわかった。サトコがいい子にしてたらわしもこの部屋には入らん。な。それでええんね。はい。はい。ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
Teppei was sure the bank book was inside Satoshi's room, but Satoko would lose it if he went inside. He wasn't pleased about the promise he made with her, but at least he would keep Satoko under control. It might not hurt him to send her off to school. If he kept her home again tomorrow, that teacher might come to the house with the police in tow. He was only keeping her at home because he was afraid that Satoko would talk to other people. If she wasn't going to do that, it'd be better for him to send her to school. He could sneak into Satoshi's room while she was out.
Satoko, お前がいい子にしたったんから、風ももうええ頃じゃんね。お前明日から学校行け。
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
He was the one who told her to say thank you when he gives her approval to do something. But it annoyed him to hear her say it over and over.
あよ、いかんね。絶対やったが。もう、面白ない。
Alright. And then we have this. Now we have Satoko back to school. I'm sure it was because of our efforts that Satoko was able to come to school today. However, we couldn't really celebrate after seeing her painful expression.
Satoko, 本当に心配したんだぞ。
この3日間、本当に何事もなかったんですか？ 3日間熱が下がらなかったんですの。ご迷惑をおかけしましたわね。
She started telling us why she hadn't been at school. Nobody had even asked her that.
多分、おじさんからそう答えるよう強く脅されてるんだと思う。あんな姿痛々しくて、なんだか悔しいくらいだよ。
Rihanna seemed more angry than sad. Inside, I felt the same way. I felt like my anger was boiling up and lodging painfully in my throat. He was only letting Satoko come to school because he was now certain that she wouldn't do anything that would put him at a disadvantage. He was treating her like a tamed animal. Was it too late already? I thought of the broken Satoko I once saw in my imaginary world.
Satoko, お前はよく頑張ってるな。
当然ですわ。ニーニーがいなくても、私は一人で頑張れますもの。
Slowly reached out my hand toward her head. Keiichi, what are you doing?
お前がよく耐えて頑張ってるご褒美に頭撫でてやる。嫌か？
She didn't reply, but she didn't refuse either. I slowly put my hand on her head. Keiichi, you are aware of what happens if you do this, right? Why the heck are you doing this right now? I get it. I would have like the same kind of... I would want to do this too. I wanna hug the poor little thing, but you know that this is gonna make her go for another breakdown. She didn't react to it, but a tear rolled down from her eye all of a sudden. Was she crying because she didn't want to be touched? No, that wasn't it. Rather, it was the opposite. If I stopped petting her head, it hurt her feelings. Okay, well, if that's the case, then thank God. Satoko felt obligated to survive without her Nini. But that didn't mean she didn't want anyone else's help. She couldn't appreciate my patting her head openly. Satoko had no choice but to cry in silence. Alright, there.
さとこちゃん、今は泣いても誰にも言わないよ。
And after Rena said that, Satoko started crying like a baby. I felt relieved, knowing that it wasn't too late. She hadn't yet suffered from the fatal emotional wound that I saw in my imaginary world. apparently so, luckily. However, her tears made it clear that I needed to save her as soon as possible, no matter what the world might say to me.
さとこ、きっとみんなが助け出してくれますのです。きっとなのですよ。
さとこ、ぼんやりしてたわけじゃないんだよ。ね、ケイちゃん。
おう、俺たちはな、児童相談所に訴えてるんだ。あの王子の野郎の非道から、里子を一刻も早く助け出してほしいってな。
そんなことしてくださらなくても結構ですのに。
俺たちだけじゃねえぞ。なあ、富田君。
Keiichi, can you... I don't know, you are the god of words in this story. Is there any way for you to convince Satoko to change her mind and seek help?
僕だけじゃないです。
I mean, it is very, very unfortunate that Keiichi doesn't know Satoshi like at all. I mean, you know, in retrospect, there is such a deep connection between us, Satoshi and Keiichi throughout all these chapters, and they have never met each other. Some comments, some of you who have commented have said it the best when it comes to that. But you know, Shion knows Satoshi. The rest of the girls know Satoshi more than Keiichi. Could they be able to help Satoko?
岡村もクラスのみんなも戦っています。
そうだよ。僕たちクラス全員で相談所に押しかけてるんだ。もちろん今日も行くよ。ねえ、前原さん。
ああ、里子を救い出せるまで俺たちはくじけないもんな。
All the boys and girls in the class answered my call with their cheers. Satoko seemed a little surprised, but then soon became expressionless again.
だから相談所の方が来ましたのね。余計なことをなさらなくてもいいのに。
さとこ、ひょっとして相談所の人が来たことによってあいつから何かいじめられたりしたんですか？
She wouldn't answer. I couldn't tell what that salary meant. Soon after, Chie-sensei entered the classroom. She must have heard the noise we were making.
北条さん、体の具合はもういいのですか？
We didn't know for sure if she was really sick or not. All of us, including Chie-sensei, were feeling the same thing.
ええ、おかげさまで。本当にご心配をおかけしましたわね。もう平気ですのよ。
これからはちゃんと学校に来られそうですか？
ええ。だから本当にもうご心配なさらなくていいんですのよ。相談所の人になんか言わなくていいんですのよ。
北条さん、もし本当に辛くなった時は先生のお家へいらっしゃい。先生は北条さんの味方ですからね。いつでもいらっしゃい。そこで先生だけに美味しいとこを持ってかれちゃたまんないね。さとこ、ここにいる私たちは全員味方だよ。そうです。さとこもぜひ私のマンションに遊びに来てください。余ってる部屋もありますから、さとこのプライベートルームにしちゃっても全然 OK ですので。
ダメです。さとこは僕の家で飼ってるのですから、早く僕のお家に帰ってこないとダメなのですよ。みぱー。
なあ、里子は一人ぼっちなんかじゃない。みんながお前を助けようと今必死になっているんだ。
But I don't know if people at the Child Consultation Center will ever understand how we feel. If what Oishi-san told me yesterday was true, and once they learn this isn't the will of all Hinamizawa, once they learn it's only her classmates creating a stir, they may harden their stance against us. All we had planned was to go there with more people and ask for the same thing. The child consultation center was going to say the same thing to us too. It wasn't going to be any different from yesterday. They tell us that it's only normal for her uncle to take care of Satoko, because he's legally her guardian. They also tell us that there's no proof of any abuse happening. And why do they think that? Because Satoko won't admit she's being abused.
お気持ちだけで十分ですのよ。本当に大丈夫ですから。
嘘だよ。
Rena spoke with a smile, but her words cut sharp.
さとこちゃんは大丈夫なんかじゃない。さとこちゃんはみんなを騙しきれてなんていないよ。ここにいる全員が、いや、もっともっと大勢が、さとこちゃんが苦しみ、悲しんでいることを知っているよ。だから私たちは、さとこちゃんを助けるために、立ち上がって精一杯頑張ってる。悲しい沼に、胸まで浸かりもがいているさとこちゃんに、みんなで手を差し伸べている。でも、それだけじゃさとこちゃんを救えないの。
そうなんだ、さとこ。相談所側は俺たちの言い分に耳を貸しつつも、さとこ本人が虐待を否定するから虐待はないの一点張りなんだ。俺たち全員がさとこを救いたいと思っても、さとこが受け入れてくれなければ救えないんだ。
私、とても昔に逆の立場だったことがあるの。どうせ誰にも自分は救えないと。自分が今していることが最善手だと。そう思い込んでいるから、仲間が差し伸べてくれる手を受け入れられないの。でもその時、顔も思い出せないけど、ある人が言った。本当に選びたかった世界はすぐそこにある。でもそこへ至るには、向こうのみんなとこちらの自分が互いに手を伸ばし合わないとダメなの。私たちだけが手を伸ばしても意味がない。だからさとこちゃん、あなたも手を伸ばして。それで互いに手をつかみ合って、初めて私たちは元の世界へ戻れるんだから。
レナ、それを誰に？
覚えてない。
I have a vague suspicion.
きっと幼稚園よりも小さい頃なんじゃないかと思う。いつどこで誰になんて覚えてない。でもその時の気持ちを私は今でもはっきりと思い出せるの。あの時の気持ちがあったから今日の私がある気がするの。
そうだな。レナに言ったそいつは間違ってないぜ。サトコは今助けを求めないのが強さだと思い込んでる。それが最善手だと勘違いしてる。いいか、違うんだ。自分の顔を鏡で見てみろ。それが望んだ世界を掴んだ顔か。違うだろ。サトコはこんな世界、心のどこにも望んでなんかいない。
That is surely not the face that your beloved brother Satoshi would want to see, that's for sure.
俺たちはサトコを元の世界に連れ戻せる。そしてその手を伸ばしてる。その手はサトコの鼻先のところまで伸びてるんだぜ。だがあともうわずかが届かない。届いてりゃ髪の毛を踏んづかんででも引っ張り出してる。だがそのわずかが届かないんだ。だから掴め、お前が掴め。手を伸ばしても誰にも届かないから観念するなんて言わせねえぞ。お前の鼻先に俺の、いや俺たちの手があるんだよ。だから掴むんだ。手を伸ばすだけでいい。あとは俺たちが元の楽しかった世界へ引っ張り上げてやるから。
Satoko wouldn't reach out her hand. She just stared at mine as though praying for something. Her fingers were shaking. But Satoko wouldn't try to reach her hand toward mine. I felt like screaming out in anger, but I didn't want to scare her. If I did that, she'd never trust me again. You know what? I think that is enough for right now. Just small steps. Maybe we're not able to convince Satoko 100% here, but what you, Keiichi, and Rena said here is good enough for right now. All I could do was to wait for her to reach out her hand.
ありがとうですわ。本当にありがとうございますですわ。でも、本当に平気ですのよ。本当に。
さとこ。もう少し時間がいるんだよ。
Satoko needed time to sort out our feelings, but her time limit was getting closer and closer. It was unfortunate that Satoko didn't even realize that herself. The next moment, we heard someone approaching our classroom. By the sound of the footsteps, we could tell that it was the principal. And so, I couldn't tell why Satoko was twitching like she just got electrocuted. The door quickly opened, and the principal strode inside. He seemed relieved to see Satoko back in school. However, Satoko reacted both dramatically and bizarrely. Oh god. Is it because it reminded her of how Teppei would just walk like that? Strong steps? Oh boy. Okay, well, here comes another breakdown. She let out an inexplicable scream, ran to the back of the classroom, and hid behind the curtain. No one in the classroom could understand her actions. We never even considered it was because the principal had entered the room. The principal, however, realized it immediately. Satoko was scared to see him.
Hojo-kun, 大丈夫かね?
He spoke in a kind voice, but Satoko was still afraid. It was plain as day to all of us that Satoko was frightened at the sight of the principal, but none of us could understand why.
大丈夫か、サトコ。何も怖がることなんてないぞ。ここには味方しかいない。
おじが。
Everyone here thought for sure that Satoko's uncle had shown up to get her. We all rose up at once, shielded Satoko in a circle, and searched the surroundings. I had yet to see her uncle's face, but we were in school now. If someone familiar showed up, I could spot him immediately. If he tried to force Satoko to leave, then forget everything else. I ended the fight right here. Mion and Shiono are thinking the same thing. However, while Satoko remained frightened, we couldn't find any sight of her uncle. Satoko was trembling as if he was already here inside our classroom, but there was no sight of him. Finally, I realized the truth. Satoko was frightened by the figure of the principal. I can understand that she'd be scared of his footsteps, but she was still terrified after he showed his face. This was not normal. It was made clear to me how much stress Satoko was dealing with. Urika-chan hushed Satoko and whispered into her ear.
大丈夫ですよ。おじはいませんです。意地悪なおじはいませんですよ。
でもそこにおじが。私を連れ戻しに来たんですわ。
落ち着くのですよ、サトコ。今日のお注射はちゃんとしましたですか?
Fuck, I forgot about her shots. I don't think she has taken any these days.
おじが
I mean, I'm not even gonna be surprised, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not even gonna be surprised if it's because of the disease as well. I mean, I would have accepted that it was like PTSD right over here. Not post-traumatic, but trauma that is making her react this way, but imagine if the disease is also accentuating this. Like, in her mind, she's literally seeing Teppei right there.
ねえねえ、ねえねえ。
注射って何の話だ、リカちゃん。
圭一、急いで入江を呼ぶのです。聡子が大変だと言えばわかりますです。早く。知恵、聡子を保健室に運びましょうです。どうしたの、聡子ちゃん。聡子ちゃん。
とにかく監督を呼ぼう。医者に見せるしかない。で、誰か監督のとこの電話番号はわかるか？
私がわかるよ。職員室の電話を借りよう。
I headed to the nurse's office after I asked Mion to make a phone call to the doctor. There were lots of students surrounding the office. Chie-sensei was forcing out the other kids who had entered the room with them. I snuck behind her and entered it myself. Satoko was lying down on the bed, still shaking with fear. Ren and Rika-chan were there with her, trying to calm her down. I spoke quietly, so as not to scare Satoko.
サトコは大丈夫なのか？どうしたってんだ、一体。
よくわからないけど、とても怯えていて、校長先生の姿がおじさんに見えたみたいなの。
Hearing that made it easier to understand, but it was still hard to believe. He had been right in front of us and had spoken to her all in such a kind voice. It was really hard to believe that she couldn't tell that it was the principal.
壁に黒い点が一つあったら、圭一やレナはそれが何に見えますですか？ハエが嫌いな人ならきっとハエだろうと思いますです。雲が嫌いなら雲に、ゴキブリが嫌いならきっとゴキブリに見えますです。人は識別のつかない何かがあったとき、無意識のうちに一番自分にとって嫌なものでないことを確認しようと強く意識するのです。
聡子ちゃんは近づいてくる校長先生の足音を聞き、とっさにおじさんを思い浮かべたということ？
でも校長が実際に姿を現してもまだ怯えていたぜ。
Man, fuck you, Higurashi. I was thinking, oh god, the patting her head is gonna make her break down once again, but no, apparently not. We were safe. Nope, this happened.
その誤解がすぐに解けなくなるのが聡子の病気なのです。
What does she mean, illness? I tried to ask Rika-chan that, but Satoko was becoming even more frightened. Rika-chan held her hand gently and tried to calm her down. Rena tapped my shoulder. She was indicating to me that we should leave Rika-chan and Satoko alone in the room. I agreed with her. Satoko was in tremendous shock.
じゃあ俺たちは教室へ戻ってるよ。
Alright.
お願いしますです。
Rena and I left the nurse's office. My classmates were still asking Chie-sensei about Satoko's condition. As soon as they saw me, they walked over and asked how she was.
みんな、とりあえずはリカちゃんに任せよう。サトコは今、とても怯えやすくなってるんだ。だから、怖がらせないようにしてやってくれ。多分、ここで騒いでいるのも、サトコには怖く感じるんだと思う。
教室へ戻ろう。きっとすぐに監督が来て様子を見てくれるよ。みーちゃん、連絡は取れたんだよね？うん、大至急来てくれるって。それまではリカちゃんに任せて安静に。絶対に保健室から出さないようにだってさ。はい、皆さん、教室に戻りなさい。朝のホームルームを始めますよ。
While the teacher took our attendance, a car arrived on the school premises. Everyone's attention was drawn to it. 3 people with white gowns came out of the vehicle. Irie ran into the school in a hurry, but I was surprised to see 3 people show up. It made us all worried that Satoko was in worse shape than we realized. Chie-sensei felt the same way. She left the class to Mion and hurried to the nurse's office. I mean, I am surely worried about Satoko's health right now and the state that she is in because of the abuse that she has been going through, but this is surely piquing my interest. Can I see what they're talking about, maybe? Despite our worries, Satoko returned to the classroom about 10 minutes later. Oh. She was still as depressed as she was in the morning, but she was no longer in a state of panic.
さとこ、もう起きて大丈夫なんですか？もう少し休んでてもいいと思います。
ご心配をおかけしましたわね。もう平気ですのよ。
さとこちゃん。
Satoko seemed bothered by the way we were worrying about her. Chie-sensei also returned to the classroom. At the same time, I snuck out so I could talk to Irie and his staff. Good there, Keiichi, good. I saw him talking with Rika-chan.
監督、さとこは本当に大丈夫なんですか？
前原さん。ええ、とりあえずは大丈夫です。しばらく様子を見てあげてください。
ちょっとした発作なのです。もう大丈夫なのですよ。
発作ってそういうもんなのか？そういえばさっきも保健室でさとこのことを病気だみたいなことを言ってたけど。
Yes, tell us. Spill the beans right here, Irie. Come on.
では、私はこれで失礼します。
No, don't go.
何かあったらまた呼んでください。
Damn it! Coach bowed and left without making any comment. It was like he was avoiding my question about Satoko's condition.
圭一、誰にも内緒と約束できますですか？
え？
My lips are sealed, even though I have no lips. Yo.
さとこは数年前からちょっとした病気なのです。ずっとその治療を受け続けていますです。
Okay. Yeah, surprising to hear that. That meant she was already sick when I first met her. I'd never seen any sign of that, though. She's been sick since a few years ago.
その病気は簡単には治りませんが、ちゃんとお薬と治療を受けることで普通に生活することができるのです。
Okay.
そうなのか？でもだったら問題ないじゃないか。
I mean, it's wild. This is like the first time that I hear about this in chapter 5, in chapter 7, like this chapter. When we first started this fragment, and we were talking about Satoko's illness, I was like, what? She never displayed any of that kind of thing before.
リカちゃんに打ち明けられるまでさとこが病気にかかってるなんて考えもしなかったもんな。あれだけ元気に過ごせるならそれで十分だよ。
I mean, unless, of course, we're talking about the disease that I have been spewing about for like the entire adventure, in which case everybody could have that. She was hardly in a good condition, so that makes me hesitant to use the word fine. What kind of disease could Satoko have? Based on what I saw earlier, she might have a mental illness rather than a physical one. It might be because of how she was abused in the past. I've heard that mental trauma is not easy to cure, and it needs medical attention at times. Nah, I don't think it's just because of the mental trauma, although that surely accentuates this illness. I mean, if this is from years ago, well, I don't want to believe that the parents have also abused Satoko. I don't think, from what I've seen, that they were bad to Satoko. I've had the theory that maybe they have been neglectful. Reason why she does pranks to begin with, to seek attention. But other than that, if it's years ago, I don't think that would be the case. Because the abuse started with the aunt and the uncle, which was for like a year ago and such. So this illness definitely did not start because of the abuse. It started much earlier. That must be what's going on with her.
サトコは実は毎日2回のお注射をしなくてはいけない体なのです。ですが、朝からいろいろとおじに意地悪をされていたせいで、今朝のお注射を忘れてしまったようなのです。
それはつまり、注射を1本忘れると、サトコはあんなに怯えてしまう状態になるということなのか。
Ariakey nodded quietly. She becomes emotionally unstable. Well, okay. Understandably so if we're talking about the uncle being here. But I do want to ask, is this a case where she becomes emotionally unstable even if the uncle wasn't here? Like, okay, I've been talking about the illness for all this adventure, and I was thinking that, yeah, panic / paranoia / stress would trigger that. But would you say that Satoko is in such a state that even if she wasn't stressed because of some other factors, she will become emotionally unstable if she doesn't take the shots? She isn't that critical of a state. Because what was that thing that Irie said? She was in L3 when we started this? Like, is that good? Is that bad? Is that something that, like, does that mean that Satoko becomes emotionally unstable only because she doesn't take the shots, even if she has nothing to stress about? Or is that like L3 or whatever, the thing where she becomes emotionally unstable even if she has zero stress in her daily life and she has to take the shots? Really, it was quite a shock. The Satoko I know is an energetic and mischievous girl who is always bouncing around like a super ball. I can't believe that she turned into a scared little animal just by forgetting to take a shot.
注射を忘れると、サトコはとても怖がりになってしまうのです。すると、何かが起こったり、聞こえたり、現れたりするだけで、それらがサトコに危害を加えようとしているように感じてしまうのです。
つまり、さっきの場合は、校長の足音を聞いて、おじが学校に乗り込んできたように感じたというわけだな。
そうです。サトコの場合は、その足音をおじだと思い込んだら、そうなってしまうのです。校長が顔を見せて優しく語りかけたとしても、サトコの中ではその人物はもうおじになってしまったので、何を言おうとおじが言っているように聞こえてしまうのです。
さっきリカちゃんはその誤解が解きにくくなる病気だと言ったな。嫌なことと思い込んでしまったら誤解が解けない病気か。なんて病名か聞きたくもないな。気の毒だぜ。それにそんな病気と戦いながら今日まで頑張ってきたんだな、あいつ。
でも圭一、どうかこの病気のことはサトコには言わないであげてほしいのです。
Why not? I guess I shouldn't ask. It might not be a nice thing to talk to her about her mental illness. Well, at least not right now. I guess that's what she's trying to tell me.
サトコはさっき教室に戻ってきたが、もう平気なのか？
とりあえず入江が聡子のお注射を持ってきてくれましたので、もう大丈夫です。
She seriously is sick to the point where she requires the doctor's attention. I realize something in the next moment.
な、サトコが急病で倒れたってことにして入院させちゃうのっていい手だったとは思わないか？
We can force her to stay in the hospital even if she refuses. That way we can save her from her uncle. Yeah, that's a great idea. Although, a bit temporary to be quite honest.
もちろんそれは入江が提案しました。ですが聡子が断ったのです。
God damn it, Satoko. I just... Okay. You know what? This clearly has something to do with Satoshi. I mean, obviously. Like, she feels guilty about what happened in the past with Satoshi to the point where she feels guilty that she doesn't seek help. And all that. But I get the feeling that there's also something more added to that. And I think it has something to do with Satoshi's room specifically. Obviously, Satoko doesn't want Teppei to ruin Satoshi's room, like to ruin the sanctity of what Satoshi left behind. But why do I get a feeling that there is something inside Satoshi's room specifically that Satoko does not want Teppei to go inside, and she always wants to stay home no matter what, even if she gets abused. Hell, she's even refusing to go to the hospital because of this. Just so that she would stay home and protect Satoshi's room. Now, going to school, that's something that she cannot fight against, unfortunately for her. So she has no choice but to go to school and pray that Teppei is not gonna do anything stupid in Satoshi's room. Is it the bank book? Or is there something more? I don't know.
サトコが断るとか断らないとかの問題じゃないだろう。
圭一、聡子が家に帰らないとニーニーの部屋を片付けられてしまうのだそうです。
I was just thinking about that.
何？
聡子にとって北条の家はサトシが帰ってくるまで守らなければならない場所なのです。
He has taken advantage of her? Teppei was telling her that he'd get rid of Satoshi's room if she didn't stay with him?
汚ねえ野郎だ。
圭一、他のみんなには言わないでください。C は感情を抑えるのがうまくないので、知ったら短気を起こしかねませんです。
Tell me about it. She brought up Shion, but I was also furious about it. I had to calm down though. I needed everyone's help in order to save Satoko. I couldn't ruin everything by acting foolishly. I had no time to stop.
くそ！サトコが助けてと一言でも言ってくれりゃどうとでもなるのに。
Just because she hadn't asked didn't mean she didn't need it. As her friends, we had to help her. Especially after learning that he was controlling her by threatening to get rid of Satoshi's room.
いや、そのサトシの部屋を片付けられてしまうってのを話したのこそ、助けてと直接言えないサトコが遠回しに発した明白な助けだ。
Ariakey nodded slightly.
圭一、聡子を助けるために残された時間はもう長くはないのです。
That I was all too aware of. She had a panic attack just because she didn't take her shot this morning. But if she stayed in her current environment, it'd be too late to save her in a matter of days. Couldn't we use that as evidence against the child consultation? Like, Teppei was negligent in having Satoko, like, take the shot? Hell, the doctor can testify for that. I just said that like a while ago. I saw her future when I saw Satoko crying behind the curtain this morning. Yeah, I remember that.
今日で3日目だ。人数はすでに初日の10倍以上に膨れたが、まだまだ行くぜ。
圭一、聡子を救うのは簡単なことではないのです。これまでに何度も試してきて、一度たりとも成功したことはないのです。
そうなのか。
圭一は覚えていない話です。でも今回の圭一は違う。今までに一度も見たことのない方法で、あと一歩で聡子を救えるところまでこぎつけていると思いますです。僕は圭一が運命なんてあっさりと破ってしまえる力のある人間だと信じています。
Damn right. What did she mean when she said I didn't remember? I didn't have time to ask questions though.
ああ、そうだな。運命なんて俺があっさり打ち破ってやるぜ。
Yeah, let's get to it. Come on. Alright, back to the child consultation center. Let's see. A huge crowd had formed in front of the library. It was hard to believe that over 50 people had assembled in front of such a quiet place.
今日は面白くなってきたぜ。今日のリーダーの前原さんだ。挨拶しろ。
Hey, Kameda. Our brother from another mother. I guess, what a lovely coincidence that Kameda's name starts with K as well. The two Ks. The two loud, annoying K fucks. Kameda-kun had brought a bunch of athletes with him. They were all very tall and full of spirit. Being greeted by a bunch of big people at once made me feel uncomfortable. Oops. I shouldn't feel so intimidated. The commander can't act bashful in front of his troops. Following after them were our nameless comrades who sympathized with our plight at Angel Mort yesterday. I hate to say it, but I never expected any of them to actually show up. Seeing them all here to support us made me feel glad. They seemed plenty pumped up too, raising up fervous cries. Or shrieks. Kameda-kun did so much for me. He brought not only his teammates, but also people from Angel Mort. I couldn't thank him enough.
水臭いぜ、ケイ。俺たちはエンジェルモートの義兄弟っすよ。
Brothers from another mother.
デザフェに行った連中の噂だと、夏の新デザート、恥じらいの青い果実サンデーが最高にいいらしいっす。この夏は、一緒に青い果実をむさぼり食いに行きましょう。
ケイチ君。
Oh, Tomitake.
今日はすごいね。
I actually remembered your name this time around.
これを全部君が一人で集めたのかい？
こんにちは。ここまでとは思わなかったわ。やるわね。
富武さん、高野さん、どうしてここに？
あ、レナは知らなかったか。昨べの祭りの実行委員会の席でね、今日への参加を表明してくれたんだよ。確か監督も来るはず。
お待たせしました。遅れて申し訳ございません。留守番のスタッフへの引き継ぎに手間取りまして。
Coach had brought some sashes, headbands, and banners with him. Oh, Jesus Christ. He was so well prepared. The sashes and headbands read, "Say Satoko Hojo!" and "The consultation center must take action immediately." They're perfect for a protest. Like the huge banners that, like, the athletes are gonna lift up. Big banner with big writing. "Say Satoko Hojo!" He had brought lots of extras along too. Takano-san and Shion handed them out to other supporters.
なんていうのか、監督のこういうセンスが私大嫌いなんですけど、でも今日はちょっと見直してます。しかしこういうアイテムもいいね。ここにいる60人は全員に面識があるわけじゃない。でも同じ鉢巻きやタスキを身につけることで同じ目的を持った仲間だと分かり、連帯感も育めるからね。
こんなのを身につけるとダム戦争の時代に戻った気がするよ。鉢巻きやタスキをした雛見沢の人たちは無敵だったんだ。誰が相手でもひるまなかった。
Tomitake-san was exactly right. Even the kids from Hinamizawa were willing to wear headbands. It was like we were supporting a baseball team.
さ、リカさんもぜひ。これだけの数を作るのは苦労したんですよ。
入江。
私も自分ができることを惜しみませんよ。さとこちゃんを助け出すために全力を尽くしましょう。
はい、圭一くんの。すごいね。昨日は社会科見学様ご一行だったのに、今日はまるで雰囲気が違う。
Alright.
そうだな。俺は人数が多ければ相手はビビるだろうくらいに思ってたが、これは迫力が違う。やはりハッタリって大事なんだなって思うぜ。
さあ、そろそろ時間よ。団長、決起の挨拶をお願いね。
おー！
団長なんてそんな恥ずかしい。俺なんて単なる発起人で。
ケイチ君、リーダーがそんなじゃ貫禄がないよ。さあ、胸を張って。
That photo. The photo of Keiichi when he was young. Like the early days of him being a leader. Today, the leader of the protest for Child Consultation Center to save Satoko. Tomorrow, the host of an auction at Watanagashi. And in the future, the leader of Hinamizawa. I walked out in front of everyone while Tomitake-san took pictures. Everyone went quiet and turned their gaze to me. I felt so nervous. But at the same time, I also felt really thrilled to see all our comrades here.
みんな、今日は集まってくれてありがとう。すでに聞いてると思うが、俺たちのクラスメイト、北条聡子が叔父に誘拐同然にさらわれてもう4日目。かつて気の向くままに聡子をいじめ、愛人のところへ1年間も蒸発していた叔父がどうして親権者なんて名乗れるのか。児童相談所は直ちに状況を理解し、聡子に対する緊急保護を実施するべきである。だが児童相談所側は慎重な対応を理由に現状を放置。聡子が日々の窒息しそうな環境の中で心をすりつぶされていっている急を理解していない。俺たちはこれより3日目の陳情を決行し、児童相談所に改めて緊急の対応を求めるものである。
今日学校で聡子ちゃんの姿を見た人ならわかるはず。あの快活だった聡子ちゃんがたったの4日であんなにもやつれ果ててしまって、あんな姿をこれ以上放っておくなんて絶対にできない。
これですでに3日連続。しかも人数はここまで膨れ上がった。相談所側に私たちの強い意志を訴えよう。私たちは仲間を見捨てたりしない。
すごいね。こいつは間違いなくダム戦争の再来だよ。
Okay, Tomitake, I appreciate that you're here as well with Takaro and Irie to help the cause right over here, but can you not mention the Dan conflict so much, please? It kind of gives me like some bad vibes, especially with the talk that we had with Oishi last time.
ダム戦争を知らないはずの前原くんがダム戦争を再びなって。
I really feel like after this we definitely have to talk to Oreo.
面白いものね。やはりこの地には人を結束させたくなる何かがあるということなのかしら。
やっぱり田舎的な人懐っこい風土によるものだと思います。だから今日のこれは起こるべくして起こったんです。
僕たちは隣人の顔も覚えてない都会に住んでるけど、それと比べるとなんだか羨ましいね。
電車の本数が少ないと愚痴ってた人がよく言いますですよ。
人軍突撃準備完了。閣下はただここで死ねと飲み込命令を。
要求貫徹、絶対救出。みんな K に続け。
It one had that much vigor before we'd even entered the building. They had to have heard what was going on outside. In fact, panic-looking people were staring at us out the windows.
さ、参りましょう。
Irie pushed me forward and took the first step of our third attempt, with a weight of 60 people on my shoulders. We went through the automatic doors and slowly crossed 20 meters to the counter.
これでならどうだ？一昨日は相談員、昨日は係長。なら今日は所長か？
わからない。でもきっと私たちの強い意志は伝わるはずだよ。
こんにちは。今日はどのようなご用件でしょうか？
昨日と同じです。北条聡子の緊急対応を求めて陳情に参りました。
At the far end of the office, I saw the manager from yesterday talking to a guy sitting behind an important-looking desk. I could tell he was intimidated to see so many people. Shion said this was the day we'd finally close the deal. But I couldn't be that optimistic yet. To be honest, our current numbers were probably the maximum number of people that I could get. So, what would we do if things didn't work out today? We go talk to Oreo, or we convince Satoko. I put up a brave front, but internally I was nearly cracking with anxiety. By looking at the hopeful, encouraging expression on Rena's face, as she walked beside me helped disperse those timid feelings. Rena might hold the very same worries inside of her heart. Everyone must be wondering if we can really save Satoko or not. But today, we were supporting each other by hiding those worries. That was unspeakably our team's strong point. We would never have gathered so many energy and strength if we were alone. That power can only be created when people work together. Oh! It takes forever for a drop of water to wear away at one rock, but a tsunami can break it into pieces in a second. The manager approached the counter. He started speaking to me, saying that as the meeting room wasn't open today, he can let us all into one room. However, the head of the office was waiting to see us, so he could use the reception area in front of his desk. Since the room is so small, however, he asked us to choose 3 representatives to come inside.
本当に申し訳ございません。他のお客様へのご配慮ということで、ご理解とご協力をいただけると助かるのですが。
We were here with all these people, and they were only letting 3 of us inside. I wanted to refuse their offer, but Mion told me to take it.
この人数で占拠すれば業務への支障を理由に上げ足を取られかねないしね。すでに十分インパクトを与えてる。向こうも施設長が直接話を聞くと言ってるし、これは向こうの最高の対応でもあるよ。
みんなガクガクブルブルでニャーニャーしてますですよ。
ニャーニャー。
にゃーにゃー。でも会議室が空いてないってのは嘘くさいですけどね。
私も嘘だと思うな。でもみーちゃんの言う通り、これだけの人数で押しかけたというインパクトは十分与えたと思う。
所長さんはここの最高責任者です。それが話を聞くという例を尽くした以上、こちらにも多少の譲歩が必要かもしれませんね。
話し合いの場を設けたのに先方が席に着かなかった。そういう記録だけ残ると話し合いの余地なしってことにされてしまうわね。
部外者の意見で恐縮だけど、ここは話し合いに来ているということをアピールするべきだと思うな。
It was good to get suggestions from so many different people. If it was on me, I would have just gotten pissed off and left. That was probably not the best idea. Once again, I felt how important it was that we were a team.
わかりました。では代表3人ということにします。で、代表は誰にしよ
う？代表は圭一くんでいいと思うな。あと大人として監督とみーちゃんもついててくれれば文句なしかな。
Yes.
所長が私の顔を知ってたら園崎家の圧力ってことになっちゃう。 今回の件は園崎家はノータッチなんで、そこを誤解させられない。大人の事情でごめん。
聡子を助けるのは私たちの戦いで、鬼ババとは何の関係もありませんからね。ならレナさんはどうです？ガツンと一発叩き込んでやってくださいよ。
私でもいいけど、リカちゃんはどう？聡子ちゃんの一番のお友達として代表に加わってもいいんじゃないかな。
You know Satoko more than anyone else around here, Rika. You could help us with plenty of details that you could tell about Satoko. They can help us. Rika-chan is a quiet girl, so it'd be hard for them to understand what she's thinking. However, she's Satoko's best friend. She had been living with her for the past year, as if they were family. She has the strongest bond with Satoko out of any of us.
よし、俺と監督、そしてリカちゃんで行こ
う。了解。
Alright. I love that we're having Coach be one of the representatives. I was gonna mention that.
私はみんなをまとめるよ。
Mion went at me and started explaining the situation to everyone else. Alright. I never thought I'd be chosen as one of the representatives. I'm not a very good speaker, so really, Ren or Shion should have been picked instead of me. But I just couldn't refuse when they told me that Satoko's best friend should be the one to go. They told us to sit on the couch inside the visitor's room. The counselor, the manager, and the head of the office were there. The way they treated us was improving every time we came. I didn't know if today's appeal would change anything. I mean, we have to try. We gotta create a miracle right here. But I was starting to feel the direction of fate shift little by little.
どうですか、リカ。
わずか数日でとんでもない展開になってる。さすがの私にももうどうなるやら見当もつかないわ。
Hanyo appeared beside me. It had been a while since she showed up. Hanyo was assuming that we still wouldn't be able to save Satoko in this world either. She always felt it was best to just watch what happened, without hoping for a positive change. Well, screw that! I've been hurt so many times after being betrayed while hoping for change. Surely that wasn't good for my soul. I've been beaten down over and over again. It's better to be quiet and do nothing. It's better not to expect change. That way, if something bad happens, I won't feel pain. My fate was already a dead end. But was that really true? I did my best in many of my previous lives. However, I had always acted alone. A miracle only happens when everyone combines their efforts. I was starting to feel the depth of what that meant. But even so, that didn't guarantee that we could save Satoko. This was the best chance I'd had so far, certainly. But that still didn't prove anything. I couldn't call it a miracle just yet. A miracle is something far more dramatic. So, this wasn't a miracle. It wasn't a miracle just yet. There was still someone else who needed to reach out for this to become a miracle. And that would be Satoko. Everyone has been working so hard. They truly believe they can bring about a miracle. Who amongst them doesn't believe? Isn't there someone who's not reaching out her hand, like everyone else is doing?
冷たく言えば、奇跡を起こせない日は聡子にある。そもそも、さっきから圭一や入江が向こうとやり合っている最大の争点は、聡子が虐待を認めたかどうか。
そうなのですが、それは簡単ではないのです。
聡子を救おうと、みんなが手を伸ばしているのに。そうやって考えると、相談所に訴える前に、一番訴えるべきは聡子じゃないかって思う。
聡子に手を伸ばすよう説得するのですか？
うん。それはとても簡単なことではないけれど、サイコロの目が再び6揃いになる奇跡を待つ苦労に比べたら、大した苦労じゃない。
In any case, I'm the only one with a key to open her heart. I'm like family to Satoko. I know she thinks the same. I'm not trying to brag or anything. Satoko is like family to me as well. No, my feelings toward her are even deeper than that. It might be only 1 year for Satoko, but I spent decades with her.
そして、さらに考えれば、奇跡が起こらないのは至極当然だった。
どうしてなのですか？
奇跡を起こすには、みんなの力を合わせなければならない。みんなが合わせてないんだもの。一人足りなかった。奇跡が起こらないのは当然。
さとこですか？
違うわ。私よ。私。
I've just been observing them like a spectator. True enough, I mean, you know, we did have that talk with Satoko in the classroom. Keiichi has tried to convince Satoko to seek help, to reach her hand. But you know, I feel like our ultimate goal would be if we can convince Satoko to reach out her hand, you be Rika to tell her to do so, to try to convince her the best way. Maybe that way, we're gonna get a miracle. I've been tired of this eternally repeating world, and acted like a witch. I have forgotten the powerful feelings needed to change fate. In other words, it was like I was supposed to be an actress, but was just sitting back and eating popcorn. Watching a stage play. I'm not a spectator. I'm one of the people on the stage. And that's why this play was never successful. In the world where Rena took over the school, if I hadn't done anything, Keiichi would have died in an explosion. Because I got on the stage like I was supposed to, the play didn't end that way. True enough, I am part of this world too. It's such an obvious thing, but I must have forgotten it a long time ago.
私が、サトコの心を解かなくてはならない。サトシの呪縛から、サトコを解き放たなくてはならない。
Fuck yeah!
もちろん、私以外にもそれはできるだろうけれど、きっと、私が一番できる立場にいる。
Yeah. You know what? Like, after our meeting here, like at the child consultation center, you'll go right there to Satoko and you try to convince her.
いや、そうでなかったとしても、私もまた舞台に上がらなくては、奇跡は起きないってこと。
リカ、あなたは何度もそのような決意をして、それを打ち砕かれて悲しんできましたです。
Shut it. I don't want to hear it. This time we're gonna succeed.
それでもなお、なのですか？
It's not gonna be a mistake.
わかってる。二度とない幸運と、二度とない結束。私が次の世界でも頑張ろうと、安っぽい決意をしたところで、私の努力とは無関係なところで袋小路は決まるだろう。この世界よりも、もっともっとあっさりと、どうしようもない形で。だから、この世界でもダメだったら、私は諦めようと思う。
Hanyo looked at me with surprise. For us, the term giving up means a lot more than what it sounds like. It doesn't only mean that I'll accept my fate. It means that I'll accept the dead end waiting for me. In other words, accept my death. I mean, you know, for a while it kind of makes me forget that we still have to deal with Rika's deadly fate, like after Watanagashi and Takano and Tomitake and all that. We have been so focused on Satoko and her abuse part of the story right over here that we still gotta deal with that other thing after this. Again, as I said, this is quite a detour that I really wish it didn't happen, but we had to deal with it nonetheless. So I hope that not only are we going to be able to succeed in this, but we're also going to succeed in changing Rika's fate herself.
なんていうか、未練って努力してないから感じるものなんだって、私、分かったの。今回、これだけの幸運に恵まれ。まあ、確かに叔父の帰宅は例外だけど、それにしたって、二度とあるかどうかもわからない追い風に恵まれた。そして、その追い風の中で、私は多分、できる最大限の方を張ったと思う。だから、今度こそって思うし、逆に、これでダメなら、もう絶対にダメだと思う。その時は私、本当の本当に、諦めがつくと思うから。そんなの、ダメなのですよ。
I'm the only person who can communicate with Hanyu. If I disappear, she will have to go on with her life all alone. That's the last thing Hanyu wants to happen. Perhaps that's why Hanyu says the things she does. She doesn't want my lifespan to wither away by getting hurt emotionally.
でも、私はもともと、この舞台の出演者だった。あなたに、舞台を見るという楽しみ方を教えてはもらったけど、出番を降りたら、舞台が成立しない。きっと、だから私は、袋小路を出られないんじゃないかなって思うの。
ティカ、きっとどこかの世界で、今回と同じような幸運に恵まれ、しかも叔父の帰ってこない世界がありますです。それは奇跡ではなく、今回よりももう一つ余計に6が出るだけのことなのです。
今回と同じような追い風で、叔父も帰ってこない世界か。そうね。そうだったら、どんなに素晴らしいことか。
Still, trying to beat my fated death is another issue entirely. That sounds wonderful, but it's still not guaranteed.
その世界まで頑張って僕と待ちましょうなのです。
Nope, no more waiting.
だから、この世界が終わったら諦めるなんて言わないでほしいのです。
私が死んだら、あんたがあうあう言っても聞いてくれる人もいなくなるしね。たまに気配か足音を誰かに気のせい程度に感じさせるのがせいぜいだろうし。じゃあ、私は舞台に戻るわ。自分にできる精一杯を尽くす。あんただって永遠に繰り返す昭和の夏なんて嫌でしょ。
誰ともお話ができずに過ごす長い時間の方がもっと嫌なのです。
Apparently she thinks this time loop that's driving me mad is far better than having no one to talk to. That is how you view things, huh, Hanyu? That's why you've been saying the things that you've been saying all this time. But that's just how she feels.
僕もこの運命を乗り越えて、まだ見たことのない昭和58年や、その先の時間へ行きたいです。
Then have faith in Rika and everyone else. Let's try and change fate ourselves with our effort instead of waiting.
でもそれはリカと一緒でなくてはダメなのです。
She will be with you. I'm sure that's similar to my own claim that there's no point in living past June 1983 if I'm the only one who does. My ideal future is to survive past June 1983 and let the happy times continue like always, without anyone missing. Hanyu feels the same way. She doesn't want a world where I'm not by her side. We're repeating this world only because we wish to do so. It wasn't just Hanyu's power, it was one that we shared together. Hanyu wants to be with me, just like I want to build myself a happy future. We both want the same thing. But if I refuse to repeat the world again, my long life would be over. Yet, I never refused, no matter how sick and tired of it I was. For over 100 years, I kept believing that something good would happen eventually. However, our power is weakening, and can only go back a few weeks at most. We have so little time left to try and change our fate. If we kept it up, eventually we would only be able to go back to the morning of the day I was going to die. And that'll be a dead end for sure. I don't think a life this fortunate will ever come my way again. If my time was unlimited, I'm sure that will eventually happen. But I can't count on it happening in what time I do have left. Hanyu told me to wait for another chance because she doesn't want to see me lose myself, but she isn't fitting the time limit like I am.
死んでも目が覚めても同じ朝なんて考えたくもない悪夢よね。そんな地獄に落ちる前に自分の世界は自分の手で幕を下ろしたいの。だからそれをこの世界に決めたわ。この世界でダメだったら私はこれで繰り返しをやめることにする。
Let me translate what she's trying to say. Okay, this world is no different from any other world. You're not going to win, so don't bet on this life. Your lifespan is not as short as you think. You should wait for your next opportunity in this endless June. Stay with me until then. Stay with me and wait for the next chance.
てなところでしょ。ならせいぜい私たちのために祈ってちょうだい。相談所を解き伏せ、聡子を救い出せること。そして私が昭和58年6月の運命に打ち勝てること。昭和58年の夏を迎えられたら、ずいぶん昔に約束した通り、昭和58年のスイカを食べて窓際で涼もう。今年の秋はどんな秋？今年の冬はどのくらいの雪が？私たちの知らない天気や出来事を楽しもう。知らないテレビ番組や永遠に放送予定のまま見ることのできなかったアニメを見よう。そして私がどんな人生を歩むのか。
それまで一緒に頑張ろうって約束しましたです。なのにこの世界でダメだったら諦めるなんて、そんなのは約束違反なのです。
その約束だけは守れなくてごめん。きっと仲間みんなと一緒に昭和58年の夏を迎える。そこにはもちろん羽生もいるの。そしてきっと青くて広いに違いない夏の大空を見上げよう。きっとね、昭和58年の大空はこれまでの空とは比べ物にならないくらいに美しいに違いないから。
I'm sure I'm going to make a miracle happen in this world. God didn't design humans so they could redo their lives over and over again like me. People usually only have one chance, yet they can still make miracles happen with effort. They work so hard because they know that they'll never have a chance to do it over again. That's why miracles occur. But if I can't make one happen with all that, I just have to give up.
次の世界なんていらない。この世界で奇跡を起こす。みんなが教えてくれた。奇跡はみんなでなら起こせると教えてくれた。だから起きる。起こす。 この世界で私たちは最高の未来を迎えてみせる。
リカ